Hey, it's the Freshest Cookies. This cookie is a Minecrafting cookie. This cookie ain't stale. This cookie is fresh. Hi! Welcome to another episode of Cookies Through the Ages. In our last episode, we struck oil. Oh, yeah. And while you were away, we put up our processing plant housing, and we put up our water wheel. That thing. Over there. I just keep punching the air. Okay. I meant that thing over there. So, before I head out to the processing plant, I am going to want to show you the bits and pieces and stuff that I used for the build. And the reason I'm pausing is because for some reason I want my headphones to be a little, my voice when you hear it to be a little less loud. Just a little, just a smidge. Okay. When we started in age 3, we did all these things. And in our last episode, we did a small sample. Well, the small sample is to be followed up by the pump jack. We'll get to that. We found our oil. We'll put in our pump jack. We'll grab our bucket. We have to put in a distillation tower here. Grab our buckets of naphtha and diesel. Put in another, I hope this works, putting in a second distillation tower, piping it from the pump jack, represented in this bucket, piping it into and tank. Just tank. The tank, pumping it into the first distillation tower, pumping it into the second distillation tower, where I will have my kerosene, gasoline, lubricant, and I can just go bucket, 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 and that's this. At the same time, I have to have either a tech boiler, or I'd rather go Minecraft responsible. You know, the real world, we have global warming. Well, I can't really do a whole lot about the global warming in the real world, but I can try to do responsible Minecrafting. That's right, folks. Taking care of the Minecraft environment. It's a thing. Anyway, I'm just a cookie. Don't quote me. Okay, anyway. So we'll do the solar tower so we can grab some steam. Steam, however, is going to have to be piped in, because steam is going to be processed. These areas are the things that are outside the processing plant. Inside the processing plant, we're using modular machinery. Now, by the way, folks, this is the episode take 2. Yeah, I've already built all this shiznick. I already built all the bits and pieces and put all the things together, and it was over 2 hours. And I'm watching the playback, and I'm trying to edit it so it's presentable, and I'm just cringing. it's painful to watch what I went through to figure out how in the shiznick to work with modularity. I never want to see modularity mod again. It's horrible. So, outside we're using distillation towers and solar towers and tanks. Inside, we start with a chemical mixer. So relative to where our solar tower is, we're going to want the inside item to sit. Now, when I did this in the last video that I throw out, not only did I have a hell of a time doing it, I then realized I had all my machines stacked out of order and on the wrong side of the plant. GG, cookies. GG. I know. GG. So, we're going to do it right this time. The chemical mixer is what will come first. Notice it says you're going to mix the naphtha. Where did we get the naphtha from? We got the naphtha from here, from the first distillation tower. So, the pump jack and the distillation tower that's going to give me the naphtha needs to be near the solar tower because they both have to feed into the chemical mixer. Yes, the chemical mixer has two inputs for that. And I'm not going to lie. I may end up having to move these stinking machines yet again because I can't put the piping in place. Understanding the relationship between immersive engineering stuff and modular machinery stuff is the key to getting this build right the first time out of the box. Really. Anyway, so one of my distillation towers has to be next to or be able to pipe into the chemical mixer. After the chemical mixer, we make the liquid processor, and after the liquid processor, we make the plastic molder. Here is where I made all the things for it. So as you all know, I'm just going to go through the build recipes. But, yeah, in the process of everything last episode, I accidentally created a second pick. I think I'll just keep it for backup. Or I may actually redo this one in a way that it has other features, so it can do different things. Yeah, okay. So, onward and upwards. We are doing the modular machinery. We don't need machine circuitry for most of our builds. The key here is the blueprints, which, by the way, you needed to have made. You really needed to have them. If you don't insert the blueprints into the machine controllers of these multi-block builds, you can build them all night long until like 3 in the morning for 4 or 5 hours. And they will never, I repeat, never be created. In their pieces part stages, the blocks are this color. When they're built, they turn a dark gray. It's just like snap the finger and there it is. Anyway, So there's two ways to do this. We'll look at the chemical mixer, and this is your recipe: coal coke, hemp rope. This is the recipe for hemp rope. Blue dye. Blue tinsel lily, looks like. Oh no, okay. Indigo bush, bluebells, blue sweet pea. Notice something? Grape hyacinth. It's blue. If it's blue and you run it through your little grindstone, not the horse grindstone, just the grindstone. Oh, you get blue dye. I have plenty of blue dye. I don't need blue dye. We're good. And a stick. So I've made this already. This is the build for the blueprint. This is the structure preview. Clicking on it. Oh, this thing is the machine controller. This thing that looks like vents. One is an input, one is an output, and then there's another one on the other side. You can turn it around. This thing in the back is oh, that's right. Right. You don't need these. Machine gearbox, machine vent. Machine casing you do need, by the way. Machine casing. Modularium plate. Modularium. Modularium. Modularium is a combined item. Oh, come off it. There's my alloy. Molten aluminum, molten iron, molten redstone, molten modularium. Notice that it is one thing of redstone, two things of iron, two things of aluminum, and it gives you however things of modularium you can get. This is running in millibars or buckets. It should be running in ingots, honestly. Anyway, back to the drawing board. Plates are ingots. Well, you could pour it out that way, or you can do it this way. An ingot with the hammer on the stone anvil produces a plate. Been there, done that. These are the plates. You get 2 machine casings. Wait till you check out the list. This takes 20 machine casings. This takes 20 machine casings. This takes 14 machine casings. Can you math it? 54 machine casings. You need a metric ton of modularium, and you're just going to be pumping it out in ingots. Ideally, you probably need a big immersive engineering machine to stamp them. Of course, you all know, those of you that follow my videos, and if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and oh, by the way, at the end of this video, stay tuned for a special message. If you've been watching, you notice that I kind of play in creative for these kinds of builds because I'm a cookie. I'm not into grinding survival builds. Let's face it. Either way, back over here. looking at this, you can look at it this way, but it won't really tell you what's what. And, by the way, if you click this, right-click this while holding down the Shift key, you will see this in the real world. Very much like the machine, the projector. I did a video on immersive engineering, and I showed you the pump jack. And I put it together, but I didn't click it with an engineer's hammer, so I didn't create it. Otherwise, it would be sitting outside my factory here. Like, no. Anyway, this, when you hold it in your hand, the projector, doesn't matter what it is. It's a bottling machine projector. No, it's a projector that has the bottling machine recipe in it. But this is the projector, and if you hold the projector in your hand, it will show you in the real world the build. Same thing with the core sample drill. It will show you the chunk where you're going to drill. This will show you the machine in the real world. I went bonkers trying to do this because for some insane reason I had it backwards. I couldn't get it to sit where I wanted it to. No, I found this was better. You had to keep going back to it. That was the only drawback. But once you understood what you were doing, you managed. And also you can tell what this is. Tiny energy output hatch. Now, because this is sevtech of ages, and oh, by the way, Cookies Through the Ages is the sevtech of ages, you got a lot of unfamiliar items. You don't know what they are. Well, because you're not in age 4. But every now and again, you'll see it suddenly shows you what it is. So this is the tiny energy hatch. Click the up arrow. Now you have the next level. And you can kind of move it around, which is, I don't know why, but you can. So now this is a tiny fluid input hatch, and this is a tiny fluid output hatch. You have to make them. And oh, by the way, if you don't read these right, you can start wondering, a what? How do I make that? And then you start looking all through your just enough items inventory, and you can't find it. And then you can't build the flipping machine. Oh, I did this. When I did this the last time going through this at the first take, that's what I did. It was insane. Okay. Finally, you go up to the top. Casings. Come down. Input, output, and this is the machine controller. Now when you look at it, I'm sorry. Now when you look at it, oh, well, this is the 3D, this is the flat. Okay. Now when you look at it this way, you go, oh, machine controller, tiny input, tiny output, and power plug, tiny energy. These are your things. Tiny input fluid hatch. Let's start with the energy. Tiny energy input hatch. Needs a redstone engine. Needs LV wire. Redstone engine. Vacuum tube. Engineer's workbench. Engineer's blueprint. Put these items in, and you should get 3 vacuum tubes. I was lucky. I had a redstone. I was fine. I wasn't going to fuss with this. Because for some insane reason, I couldn't get this to work last time I tried to use it. Drove me nuts. Anyway, redstone engine, modularium, LV wire, and there you go. That's the recipe. Input hatch, hopper, bronze gear, casting. I've already done this. I'm just going to kind of be like, there's your gear cast. And by the way, how many ingots does it take to make a bronze gear? 4. Final answer, 4. I know, because I put them in there one at a time. Right now, my smeltery is empty. This, by the way, will alloy your ores when you put your ores in. If you get the right ore combinations, it will create the molten alloy you're looking for. So modularium, all your stuff, put them in here, bang. Gear goes on this table, gear cast goes on this table. Right click this faucet, 4 ingots of whatever you're making the gear out of, and you've got a gear. One and done. Read your instructions very clearly. I thought I had to have redstone plate. I'm telling you, the last episode was a hoot. No, it wasn't. It was painful. You would not have enjoyed it. You're going to enjoy this a lot better. Enough talking. So that's the hopper. Chest, iron plates, hopper. By the way, make 2 gears. Make 10 plate, 2 chest. Make 2 hoppers. Why? See this? Upper. Your second hopper. Bang. Or you could do this and make that. I mean, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. You will need an upper. You will need a hopper. In this recipe, this is an intake. This is input. Hopper, metal barrels, iron sheet metal. 4 iron plate will give you 4 iron sheet metal. You need 3 across to get one of these. 3 across gives you 6. For this, you need 2 metal barrels. So you need 2 times 5. So you need 10 of these. No, you need 13 of these because you have the 4 that go across to give you the 6 of this. You'll use all 6. You're making 2 metal barrels. 2 metal barrels, your modularium plate, your hopper, done. Output. Hopper again. Hopper again. Machine casing, empty bucket. This is the output hatch. That's fine. Go back to your machines. Oh, wait. Where did I need the upper then? By the way, here's the plastic molder. Paper. Go back and watch some of my other episodes. This is not 3 sugars across for a piece of paper. No, no. There's an involved process in it, and you have to make glue, and you have to have sawdust, and make paper. Lots of paper. Comes in handy. You're going to do a lot of blueprints. At least in the industrial age, you're going to do a lot of blueprints. I don't know. And there's your blue die. Bang. And my list here is small item output. Ah. Yes, it's not just the tinies. It's also the smalls. One of two. Small item input, small item output. Small item input. There's the hopper. A casing. Modularium. Small item output. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I thought that this said something else, and I just sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there until I finally saw that the thing was called a small item output. Right. You're outputting the plastic. Duh. So then we made the upper. The machine casing, the modularium. The reverse is the hopper, the machine casing, the modularium. So these are your builds. So you want the machine, the tiny, and the small. Run them through your JEI, find your recipes, and you are good to go. Speaking of, I think that covers everything, so let's get to it. It's raining. Alrighty then. This is the core sample drill. See the two orange lines in the background? They are the demarcation lines for the chunk in which this oil came out of. We have a battery here. We've got a wire connector, insulated wire to another wire connector, plugged into the sample drill. By the way, you can just walk right through it without getting zapped. If this were non-insulated, I would get zapped. Here is my sample. 8,271,000 millibars oil. 8,271,000 millibars of oil. I think that will produce a bit of plastic, don't you? And this is the plant. Petroleum Processing Plant, Oil 1 Station. Don't know if you can see it well. Let's go over. Whoa, not that far over. There you go. There you are, folks. Now you can see it. Within this chunk, I'm going to be placing the pump jack. Somewhere closer to here, probably along this area here, there will be a tank, piped out to a tank, connected to a distillation, one distillation, connected to another distillation, and a solar tower. These are not cheesy builds, by the way. They're massive. They're really, truly massive. However, tonight is not about the outside. It's going to be about the inside. So, in we go. If you notice, I've already taken the liberty of taking, and by the way, this is a very cool hack. Let's go in over here, go to machine, chemical mixer. Look at the sample. 3, 3, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8. 3, 3 with 1 in between. 3, 3 with 1 in between. This is the footprint for the machine. The electrical will go here. All the other stuff will be around front. Hopefully I've left enough room between units for the piping. Hopefully. Now, I don't know. Let's see if we can light that up. Ah! For the purposes of the video, this stonking honking beam is going to be the beam that's going to carry my electrical. Look familiar? It should. Water wheel. And over here, Kinetic Dynamo. This bad boy is going to have a connector. It's going to come up to a battery. And the battery is going to come up to connection. Man, I tell you what, I probably had this all wired the wrong way, but that's all right. The battery can come up and probably just going to connect it here. I mean, why the heck not? I could remove this, and no, I couldn't, because one thing, by the way, about the engineering, the immersive engineering, the electrical is it won't go through blocks. You can't have a block touching it. Each one of these blocks, each square, I don't know. All right, can you see the faint lines on the grass? That's a square. That's a square of grass. This is occupying a square of air. Same difference. The electrical cord isn't going to want to go through anything to get to here. Either way. Wherein it's then going to start being daisy chained along. So like I have to get it to come back onto here, because this is going to go all the way out the front, to power the pump jack. The pump jack area has to be powered. The distillation towers have to be powered. The solar tower gets its power from the sun, so it does not. But I'll be willing to bet there is something that needs electrical. Anyway, so the solar tower and the distillation tower with the naphtha are going to have to sit somewhere near this wall so they can be piped into here. So this is the first footprint. And a good hack for placing multi-structural builds is, if you can see your multi-structure build, say you're doing the pump jack, and I may actually do this so I have a placement so I know how I want it, and I may be able to make an indicator as to which way I want things facing, so that when I go to do my piping, it works better. It's the flow. And in the real life, flow is everything. Flow in how your house works, or flow of electricity, flow of water, flow. Anyway, so a great hack is to have taken note of the structure. You could use this. I'm not going to. I've had enough of it because I can't get it to turn off, honestly. And you can note the dimensions and then take cobblestone and make the footprint. This way, you can say, I'm going to have this block is not going to be touching the wall. So when I go to bring a power source down to here, I can do so. Oh, geez. Oh, geez, never mind. I've just totally forgotten my terminology for all of the electrical. Never mind. The immersive engineering can wait. Trust me when I say I'm pretty sure I can put a relay or the other item onto the back of the block here and have it string up to a relay that is strung to a relay along my lines. Because it's just going to be relays to the wall down to the backs of all the machines. So these are the backs. This way you also get a chance to orient what you're doing. Since all of these have the same 8-block footprint, I'm able to say, well, this will be the liquid processor. The liquid processor is going to get its piping and stuff basically from, well, look at this. The chemical mixer is going to mix the naphtha and the steam to create propene. Grab your bucket, but don't take it all. You now have to feed that into the liquid processor to convert the propene into plastic. What do I mean? Simple. Go back over here. This was the chemical mixer. Inputs, outputs. And there are inputs. There's an input over here. This may be for the steam. Oh, I hate that it's up front though. That sucks. Input, output. I have an input block here and then an output block there. Oh, God. That'll be a nightmare. And you can't, oh, by the way, and you can't change the configuration. Then the machine doesn't work. Trust me, it doesn't work. So, do you have an output putting out the product? Putting out the product to the liquid processor. This is the liquid processor. There's your controller. And there's your energy. This is an output hatch. This is an input hatch. Oh. So I have an output hatch on this thing. I'm going to have an input hatch over here. I'm going to have an output hatch over here. Last but not least, my molder. Let's look at it. There's the controller. This is the input hatch. This is not an output hatch. So, did you see it? Small item output. This is where the plastic comes out. Has 4 slots. Right. Why? Why 4 slots? Look at this. 1 sheet, 2 sheet, 3 sheet, 4 sheet. Sheets come out the slots, folks. Bang! When you get into the next age, you're going to use a lot of plastic. So you're going to be creating lots of plants all over. Same blueprint. Same old, same old, same old. And this, by the way, is what gets me to age 4. So, without further ado, I'm going to walk over here. I told you, I already built everything. Here's the blueprint. Okay, we don't need you. We don't need you. I'm going to put our signs away. Oh, by the way, these machines will take signage. They will. And we're going to put these to one side, put this to one side, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and oh wait, output, small item, output, small item, input I don't need. Okay. So, like I said, I don't want to use, you're going to come over here, chemical mixer blueprint. I don't want to use this sneak preview thing. I found it works much better to go flat. There's my tiny energy output. I am facing the machine. So, break that block. Tiny energy input. Place it. This is the same thing on all 4 sides. Break the blocks. You're going to replace them with machine casings. There you go. I'm going to leave this sucker hollow. It's not hollow in the blueprint, but for some insane reason, see when you do this, you see there is a machine casing there. When you look at it here, there's a machine casing there. For some insane reason, I had to break this and then relay it, and then all of a sudden the machine made itself. So this time, I'm going to leave it out. So now we've done this. Again, we're looking at it from the front. Let's go up a tier. Input, input, output, and controller. So, come around. Input, input, output, controller. Machine casings. And then you close it. The top is machine. Oh, wait. Sorry about that, folks. Drop down. Yes, 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 yes. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's take a look at this. Input, input, output, machine controller, casing, 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 casing. And now, casings all around. Like I told you, casings all around. Now, right-click on the controller. Blueprint found none. Structure found none. Status, missing structure. This is the chemical mixer. Chemical mixer, put the blueprint in. Blueprint found chemical mixture, structure not found, status missing structure. Yes, it is. Notice that it's orange. It's going to change color. There you go. Blueprint found, chemical mixture. Structure found, chemical mixture. Status, no matching recipe found. Well, because we haven't done anything yet. And that's okay. We haven't done anything with it yet. Now, remember I told you I can do signage? Yes, I can. And I think you should sign. Chemical mixer. Now you know what you have in front of you. Let's move on. Liquid processor. Well, alrighty then. Chemical mixer blueprint. Liquid processor blueprint. Take a look at the build. Go to the flat. Once again, tiny energy output in the back. Tiny energy output. Tiny energy output. Walk over here. Oh, mirrored. Now see, this is sometimes you get ahead of yourself. I do believe that's where I want it. And then my machine casings sit on either side. Yes, that's my footprint. Consult. Notice it's hollow in the middle. All of this machine casing and the input hatch, the energy input hatch. Notice it's a plug. Right, go up one level. Oh, okay. Machine casings, maybe. Input, excuse me, pardon me. Rude. Input hatch. Output hatch. Machine controller. Okay. All right, all right. Input hatch. Output hatch. Machine controller. Casing. 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 But we're not done, are we? Go back over. Take a look again. Finally, casing. Wait. Casing. Excuse me. All right. Plug, casing, input, output, casing. And, okay, there we go. Casing all along the top. But before we put in our casing for the, well, we can put in one. But before we put in any more, this is the liquid processor. Liquid processor, blueprint. Blueprint found liquid processor, structure found none, missing structure. Yes, it is. Casing, 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 casing. Oh! There she is. Signage, please. Liquid processor. Woohoo! Yeah, yes. By the way, you can even do this. Light them up. See, this is a machine casing, so we don't care. Light them up. Finally, plastic molder. Plastic molder. Let's look at the blueprint. First off, notice that this is too high. It's just two things. And another thing is, it's solid. It's a solid structure. What? Yeah, solid structure. Why? Oh, I would have thought there would have been a connecting pipe, but, I'm just a cookie. What do I look like, an engineer? Sheath. There's your plug. Tiny energy input hatch in the back, and it's all machine casings. So, let's come around the back. Let's drop a plug. And now, if you want to be careful, which I should be, now you start to see your structure. And now, well, there's the basic structure. Alrighty then. Plastic molder. That was the first. This is the second. Input. Tiny fluid input hatch. Machine controller. So this is tiny fluid output hatch, right? Small item output. Wait, what? That's what I missed. Never assume, because it will make an hee-haw out of you and me. Since I'm not assuming, I'm not going to end up being a hee-haw. Donkey. This a family show, Cookies. Don't use that kind of language. Oh, yes, ma'am. So, fluid input hatch, yes. Oh, it's empty. Yes, if you right-click the items, it shows you that it's got to have something coming in. Small item output, bing. Oh, there's your slots. Woohoo. Controller. Here. And everything else is casings. Before I go any further, though, machine blueprint for the plastic molder, and I'm going to place it in place. Now it's blueprint found, plastic molder. Structure found none. Status missing structure. Right. It's not completely built. Bing! Check, please. My signage is going to go down here. Done. And light them up. Blueprint found, plastic molder. Structure found, plastic molder. Status, no matching recipes found. Yeah, well, it hasn't been turned on. What we don't have is power. And in this episode, we're not going to have power. That's right. We'll be hooking these bad boys up once we're done with the outside builds. Cookies just feels like she wants to howl at the moon. Oh, oh, oh. In my last video, I did a sunset. This one's going to be a sunrise. Oh my goodness. Well then, with my back to the sunrise at Oil One Power Plant, this is the Freshest Cookies for now. Signing off. Ta-ta! Freshest Cookies here. Hi! Did you like today's episode of Cookies Through the Ages? If you did, click that like button or subscribe to my channel. Don't miss another episode of the sevtech of ages, Cookies Through the Ages. And if you don't like my video, if this isn't something you're interested in seeing, or if there's anything that I can do to improve or change how I do what I do, I mean, I'm not a professional. I am just a cookie. But let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Ta-ta!